This is part 3 of Ron Paul's The Revolution. Um, a substantial portion of the conservative movement it's become a parody of its former self. Once home to distinguished intellectuals and men of letters, now tolerates and even encourages um, anti-intellectualism and jingoism that would that would have embarrassed the earlier generations of conservative thinkers. There are still some good and some decent conservative leaders to be found, and a portion of the grassroots has remained uncorrupted by the transformation of the conservatism into just another big government movement. But big government at home and abroad seems to suit many conservative spokesmen just fine. Once in a while, they will launch a phony but conservative sounding causes like tax reform, almost always a shell game in which taxes are shuffled around rather than actually reduced overall in order to pacify the conservative base, but that's about it. Now, when Republicans won a massive off-year election victory in 1994, neoconservative Bill Kristol immediately urged them to not do anything drastic, but to wait until the Republicans took the White House in 1996. Well, of course, as we all remember, the Republicans didn't take the White House in 1996. Nothing ever got done. Instead, the Republicans' leadership urged these freshman congressmen to focus on a toothless, spophoric agenda called the Contract with America that was boldly tortured as a major overhaul of the federal government. We're talking about the Contract of America. This is 1996, when, what was his name? Billy Crystal, something like that. Bill Clinton was one of the best presidents we've had. Yeah, that was 8 years of economic growth, prosperity, peace, aside from, Bosnia. Anyways. Well, the Republicans didn't take the White House in 1996, so nothing ever got done. Instead, the Republican leadership urged these freshman congressmen to focus on a toothless, spophoric agenda called the Contract with America that was boldly touted as a major overhaul of the federal government. Now, nothing could have been further from the truth. The Contract with America was typical of what I just described. No fundamental questions are ever raised, and even supposedly radical and revolutionary measures turn out to be modest and safe. In fact, the Brookings Institute, in effect, said that if this is what conservatives consider revolutionary, then they have basically conceded defeat. See, if that's what they consider revolutionary, then they already lost. Needless to say, I am also unimpressed by the liberal left. As though they posture as critical thinkers, their confidence in government is inexcusably naive. Based as it is on civics textbooks, platitudes, and that bear absolutely no resemblance to reality, not even their position on unnecessary wars is consistent, as I noted above. Even Howard Dean, who was all in favor of Bill Clinton's intervention in Bosnia, going so far as to urge the president to take unilateral military actions beyond the multilateral artillery actions that are already taking place. Now, liberals at the grassroots, on the other hand, have deeply alienated by the various betrayals at which a movement that has been once supported, now it has made its peace with the establishment. No wonder frustrated Americans have begun referring to our two parties as the Republicrats. Democrat, Republican, they're the same thing. And no wonder that news networks would rather focus on $400 haircuts than a matter of substance. There are no matters of substance anymore. In late 2006, a number of friends and colleagues urged me to consider running for president. I was reluctant. I was not at all convinced that a sizable enough national constituency existed for a campaign based on liberty and the Constitution, rather than on special interests pandering and the distribution of loot. Was I ever wrong? Continue this in part 4 of Ron Paul, the Revolution. I think he's about to start talking about how he ran for president back in 2008. We should listen to that. It's important.